check this out. Here is the old carb. 2.9 ounces. Our new one, what do you think it's going to be? I thought it was going to be the exact same weight. Okay, so we're going to see if this thing starts up now. So I'm kind of excited about this. So here's the moment of truth here. See if it starts up. Oh boy. I'm hoping this is what I think it is, and yes, it is. Cool. XR250R carb. All right, cool. This is the thing that's going to wake up the 230, and the key, have it upside down. The key is the accelerator pump. Which, when it's working properly, as you can see, that's the pump right there pushing down, pump to the nozzle right there. Now the key is getting that nozzle to point forward. Now this is aftermarket, and I paid, well, they wanted 55 bucks for it. 54, whatever. I put in a bid, and I put in a bid of 48 bucks, and they came back with a counter offer of 50, and I said, sure, 50 bucks, you got it. That's a deal. And no, it's not a stock OEM, but I think it's going to do the trick. So a lot of you guys want to do these to your bike, so this is how you do it. Let's do it. So I decided to go ahead and take the choke mechanism off. I live in basically Southern California, Central California, and so a choke is kind of, it's not really that necessary. The bike always fired right up. I mean, just no problem. Rarely even use the choke at all. You know, it's not doing a lot, but it is restricting a little bit. So once you pop the cap off, you just pop that little cap off, and then the mechanism just comes apart. There's a clip. There is a clip that holds it all together. Right there, that little clip has to come out, and then you've got a couple little springs here. And then once that's done, you're going to be left with this hole, of course, which has to be sealed up. So what I did is I just got a screw. I know. And I'm going to just try this out. I'm going to put some sealer in it. But once it's in there, remember, this is on the intake side, so it's not any kind of pressure leak. Like, you wouldn't want to do anything like that on this side, of course. This side we can get away with, but that's not going to leak. I'm going to put some sealer in there. This side is sealed, so there you go. Now we have an open throat completely nice and clear. Okay, this is the original on the right, obviously, because it's so dirty, and this is our nice clean knockoff here. But you can basically, it's essentially the same carburetor. You can see as far as the intake here, okay, I took out the choke mechanism, and you can see we've got a much cleaner, although the diameters look about the same. It's when you go to the intake side, that's when you can really see the difference. You can really see the difference on the intake side once you put these side by side. Oh, one more thing real quick. I have no idea what size jet comes in this thing. What size main jet. Pretty important. So, before we go any further, let's pull this bowl off real quick. I had a 120 main jet in the old one. Okay, very carefully. It's a 138. That's a little bit much. You know, being rich is not going to hurt anything, but being, you know, it would just be too rich. And so we're going to take out that main jet. And let's see what I got laying around. Now here I just happen to have a 125. That is the pilot right there. Pilot jet. It's got a 45. I had a 42. It's a little bit rich. That's okay. We'll adjust the fuel screw later. Okay, so that's enough of that for now. Let's go ahead and this is our accelerator pump rod here. That's what actually pumps the fuel. That goes down in here like so. Alright, so we'll button this back up and move on to bigger and better things. Well, while we're at it, we might as well move the needle, because I'm sure they probably got it in the leanest position. We're going to put it in a little more richer position. It's always safe to go rich. You're not going to hurt anything going rich. It's when you go lean, when you go dangerously lean, that's when you're going to run into trouble. That's when you can overheat the engine. Okay, get this cap off. We'll loosen this up so we can lift it up. Alright, so down in there you can see we still got to do those screws, which is at the top of the slide. That's what we're looking at. Okay. Okay, and so once we get our two screws out of the bottom there, we can go ahead and lift it out. Okay, and there's a little spring. Little tiny spring and two screws. That's what holds the slide down. Now we can pull the slide out. There's our needle. And we'll just do a quick clip adjustment. It looks like it's on the middle. I'm going to move it down to the bottom. You can see that. I'm going to move this clip. Now this clip is a magical clip in that it will go flying across the room. It's just amazing, and you'll never find it. And I have lost so many of these. It's very delicate, very easy, can be easily bent. There we go. Okay, and I'm moving it to the bottom very carefully. I want to make sure that that's not going to come off. It's securely on there. Okay, so having this clip on the bottom rung is going to lift this needle ever so slightly to allow more fuel, making it richer. So we're going to go ahead and pop this back down in here, put this back in, lifting your mechanism, making sure it's not backwards. Notch goes to the intake side, and it should just drop right down in there, just like that. Okay, I got the two screws down tight. You don't want them coming off. I used a little tiny bit of Loctite on them, number 2, so they will come apart again. Okay, so that screw took a little bit of a lining of just squeezing and then getting the whole line. It took some work, but it went back in. Everything's working nicely. Double check. Okay, now we can go ahead and pop our cap back on. And now back to this little nozzle. That little nozzle is what squirts that fuel in there, gives you that hit, that bottom end hit. it has to spray down the throat, down the center, and in. So if it's spraying off to the side, bottom, it's not going to work. So let's check that out. Okay, so what we're doing here, what I'm doing here is go ahead and I'm connecting it to my fuel tank, taking the choke out. All that is so much easier when it's off the bike. So think about that. You may want to do that before you install the thing, you know. So much easier working on the carburetor off the bike. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my fuel. I don't know if you can see that, but it's hitting the needle. Just I think it's going to be all right. Okay, we're going to call that good. Okay, some other, what I consider fantastic news about this thing. Okay, so this piece right here is unneeded. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, it was part of the old choke mechanism. Remember, we pulled the choke mechanism out to get more flow through there. You may need it in where you're at in your part of the country, but here in Southern California, we don't need no chokes. Here's the thing. Okay, check this out. Here is the old carb. 2.9 ounces. Okay. Our new one, what do you think it's going to be? I thought it was going to be the exact same weight. 1.9. 1 pound, 9 ounces. That's a full pound. So we've taken off another pound of weight. So that was just completely unexpected, and you could really, now I feel it. I mean, the Honda piece is obviously, it's going to be better quality, of course, we know that. But if I can get this thing to work, and it looks like it's running, so another pound of weight. So that's what we wanted to do. Awesome. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is the angle of that fuel inlet. Now that's giving me a little bit of trouble because, well, you can kind of see. How about there? There you can see the difference in the fuel inlet angle. So now I've had a little bit of trouble with it hitting the frame right there and pinching the line. So what I did is I bent this a little bit this way, which let the carburetor cock ever so slightly that way to give it more clearance here. So that, you might try that. This piece you're not using, this is your actual, your cable hooks onto, not this. All right, once we get our new carb installed here, and what's the beauty of this thing is it's just a bolt-on, I mean literally is a bolt-on application. We've got our cable connected, throttle cable. It's the same connector as the old one, so it should just fit right in here, no problem. I say should, they don't always fit exactly the way we want them to, but no, this is really a bolt-on replacement, and the dimensions are exact in many ways. So really this should truly be a bolt-on product. Get it? Bolt-on? Okay, so it took a little bit of finagling here, and the fuel line on the opposite side is really tight against the frame. Now, whether that's going to be a problem, we'll see. Okay, well, and I can do some more adjustments on that later, but it is tight, we're mounted, and we're good. So, it's complete. Okay, well, here we are out at the usual riding spot. It's close by, it's burnt out, it is dry as the Sahara Desert, but it works. It works for me because it's consistent. I know what I'm gonna get. Any kind of changes I make to the bike, I can really sense those changes because I'm in the same exact consistent spot, as terrible as it is. Anyway, it's got some good sand if you like lots of whoop-de-doos. Anyway, here's our change, and we're gonna see how this thing goes. So far, it sounds awesome. Trying out the CR230F carb. Now, right away I noticed the snap, just the snap of this, so much better. Maiden voyage shakedown cruise. A couple little issues. My drain is leaking. I think my float bowl level is too high, so I will check that. I'll show you how to do that with a tube. And I noticed a little bit of hesitation on the bottom. When the accelerator pump kicks in, you really feel it. But there's just this hesitation. I think it's just the pilot jet, or the fuel screw needs a little bit more adjustment. This little issue right here with my drain so close to my pipe, when I put the rubber on there, it melts. And so I'm going to have to figure something out there. Maybe you have an idea. The other issue is, of course, this fuel line being too close. And it's touching the frame there. Well, this video has gone a little bit longer than I expected, and I went into a little bit too much detail. So, you're probably asking, is this worth doing? Overall, considering the price and the power gains, I would say yes, it's worth it. Sorry I didn't get to the front brake rotor replacement with a lighter, more high performance. So, in the next episode, we will be replacing the front brake rotor and saving a little bit more weight. Speaking of saving a little more weight, we're going to be installing an CR250R shock in the rear, and let me tell you, it is phenomenal. Now, is the CRF230 race-worthy yet? Well, not yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, till next time, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.